So today is the appearance day of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami and the disappearance day of Ramachandra Kaviraj. So we're going to be praying the Janilo Premadana, which is on page 78 of your book. And we're going to also read together the translation to this bhajan. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So if you would like to get yourselves a book, so we can all read together after we sing the prayers. Page 78. Janilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur Janilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur Enno Prabhu Kata Gela Acharya Thakur Kamura Swarupa Kahasanata Gahala Saranata Patita Pavan Kamuravata-yuga Kaha Kavira Ekakale Kata Gela Gora Natara Pashane Kutivo Mata Anale Pashivo Gauranga Gunera Vidi Kota Gele Pavo Se Sava Sangira Sange Je Koilo Vila Se Sangana Paya Kane Haro Tavadha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we can read together the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love, everybody together, and who was filled with compassion and mercy. Where has such a personality as Srinivasa Acharya gone? Where are my Svarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottama Das simply weeps. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we begin with Gopal Bhatta Goswami's biography, and chronologically, first before Ramachandra Khan. It is Ramachandra Khan's disappearance day, and I meant to say Ramachandra Kaviraj. That's his disappearance day, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami appearance day first. So I'm going to be reading and talking a little bit about each one of these two great, great personalities who are direct associates of Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, that's Manjaris. So when I was reading about them, I was feeling such like a shower of purification by reading about these personalities. And as we read about these incredible personalities who are pure devotees to the Supreme Lord, we develop a desire to follow in their footsteps, and it's very purifying. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, was born in 1503 on the 13th day of the dark moon in the month of Posha. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami lived for 75 years and left this world to enter into the eternal pastimes of the Lord in 1578. By the way, these biographies I find in gaudiyahistory.iskondesartry.com. And you have a wealth of information about all these personalities in our line and in the other Vaishnava lines also. gaudiyahistory.iskondesartry.com. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami was the son of Venkata Bhatta, a Brahmana resident of Sri Rangan in South India, who was initiated in the Sri Sampradaya tradition. in the disciplic succession of Sri Ramanujacharya. So he came from a very exalted family. Sri Venkatabhatta, the father, had a famous brother called Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. It's very important to remember, Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. The son of Venkatabhatta was later known in the Gaudiya Sampradaya as Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who established the Radha Raman temple in Vrindavan. During his travels in southern India, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the famed Sri Rangakshetra, which has the famous temple dedicated to Lord Vishnu as Sri Ranganath. When Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu entered the temple and began chanting Hare Krishna Kirtan, he mesmerized the devotees in the temple. Everyone was stunned in ecstasy, and the hairs of their bodies stood on end. Mahaprabhu's divine form was wonderful to behold, and his bodily radiance was dazzling. From his lotus eyes showered torrents of tears of Krishna Prema. The Brahmanas wondered, is he a god? Is such a manifestation of ecstasy possible in a man? Again and again, exhorting everyone to chant the holy name, saying, Haribol, Haribol, Mahaprabhu fell before the deities like a tree that had been cut down. Sri Venkatabhatta, the father of Gopal Bhatta, detecting in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the signs of a Mahapurush, could not contain himself as he saw the Lord performing Sankirtan. Pushing his way through the crowd, he joined the Kirtan party and lost himself in dancing and singing the holy name of Hari with the Lord. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. When the Lord regained his external consciousness somewhat and had steadied himself, Venkatabhatta fell in the dust of his lotus feet and asked the Lord for his mercy. The Lord lifted him into an embrace, saying, Krishna, Krishna. At that time, Sri Venkata invited the Lord to stay with him in his home during the 4 months of the rainy season. In this way, the Lord passed his days in great happiness, enjoying the transcendental mellow of discussing Lord Krishna's pastimes with Sri Venkatabhatta, and everybody in the household was benefited by the presence, obviously, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In 1511, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Venkatabhatta, who had a son named Gopal. This is our Gopal Bhatta. At the time of Mahaprabhu's visit, Gopal was only a child. When the little boy offered his respects at the feet of Sri Chaitanya, the Lord picked him up and held him on his lap and affectionately embraced the boy. Can you imagine that? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to call the child and give him the remnants of his prasad. By giving him his prasad in this manner, he blessed Gopal Bhatt Acharya to become a great devotee in the future. Every day, Sri Gopal Bhatt would serve him personally. At that time, Sri Chaitanya instructed Venkatabhatta on the esoteric truths regarding the position of Sri Lakshmi Devi and the worship of Lakshmi Narayan versus the position of the gopis and the worship of Sri Radha Govinda. So there was an interesting debate, Krishna was talking to Venkatabhatta to actually make him realize who the Supreme Lord is, because Venkatabhatta was raised in a tradition where Lord Narayan supposedly is the Supreme Person. But Lord Chaitanya, in a very humorous and kind way, instructed him as to the superior position of Radha and Krishna, because Lakshmi Devi cannot access the personal service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And the gopis can very easily get to serve the Supreme Lord. So with this kind of argumentation, in a very kind and gentle way, he convinced, and then he became a Vaishnava, worshipper of Sri Krishna. Venkatabhatta became. Before this explanation about the supremacy of the gopis, before this explanation was given, Venkatabhatta believed that Srinarayan was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thinking in this way, he believed that the worship of Narayan was the supreme form of worship. Mahaprabhu understood his misconception and gently corrected it by making good-natured jokes about it. After this, Venkata was convinced of the supreme position of Sri Krishna and Vrindavan and converted to the cause of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, although he had been raised in the Ramanuja Sampradaya. He offered his respects at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord embraced him. So Lord Chaitanya is giving us an example how to actually talk to others and convince them of the superiority of our process if they are willing to accept, of course, because some of them are going to be Rama Bhaktas no matter what, for example, or Narayan Bhaktas no matter what, but in a way that was gentle, kind, and humorous. So we don't have to be, you have to listen to me, this is the way it is. No, gentle, kind, and humorous. And considering the nature of the person we're speaking to and respecting that. In this way, the Lord spent the 4 months of the rainy season at the home of Venkata, discussing many things about Krishna and his pastimes. After this, he bid farewell. Gopal Bhatta fainted at the Lord's lotus feet. When Lord Chaitanya was living, the child couldn't face it. It was too hard for him. The separation was too intense. The Lord comforted little Gopal, saying, "Now you must serve at the home of your mother and father. Later you will come to Vrindavan. There you will constantly hear and glorify the holy name of Sri Krishna." How important it is to hear about and glorify the holy name of Sri Krishna. So by the way, we have a Harinama Sankirtan on Friday, this week, between 11:30 and 1 o'clock at Weber Street Market. In this way, after instructing the whole family, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on his way. Within a short time, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami learned Sanskrit grammar, poetry, rhetoric, and became an expert in all the scriptures, beginning with the Vedanta Sutra. His uncle, Sripad Prabodhananda Saraswati, instructed him extensively in the different bhakti shastras. How important to be born in that environment, as I said before. After he had been blessed by having darshan of the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's mind was always absorbed in thoughts of the Lord's lotus feet. There are so many references, there are so many verses in our scriptures about the super excellence of the Lord's lotus feet. And we read them, we become really enchanted by the beauty and the kindness and the love that is residing in the Lord's lotus feet. There's so many amazing, beautiful descriptions of the Lord's lotus feet. And then Gopal Bhatta began thinking, when will I again obtain a vision of the Lord? He was hunkering. In this way, the years passed. Eventually, his aged mother and father called Gopal Bhatta to their side and said, "Boy, after we pass away, you must go to Vrindavan and take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." After his parents' demise, Gopal Bhatta went to Vrindavan, always remembering the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Gopal Bhatta arrived in Vrindavan, he found that Srila Rupa Goswami was preparing to send messages with some devotees from Vrindavan to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan Goswami already knew that Gopal Bhatta would be coming to Vrindavan. Sri Rupa and Sanatan greeted him and treated him like a brother, and from that time on, their lifelong friendship began. When the messengers arrived in Puri, Mahaprabhu was happy to hear that Gopal Bhatta had finally gone to Vrindavan. He sent the messenger back to Rupa Goswami with his kapan and outer garments of the Babaji order to be given to Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami as symbols of his renunciation. Sri Rupa received these things with great joy. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami accepted loincloth and dress of a sannyasi with great happiness, considering it to be the Lord's mercy and prasad. In this way, he would pass his nights at different kundas and spend all his time studying the Shastras and writing. After some time, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami went on a pilgrimage to various holy places. He halted in a town called Devavandya Gram in Saharanpur near Hardwar. There he was received with great delight by the residents. One day he was on his way to the house of a devotee near the edge of the town. And this is the story about how he's blessing a brahmana to have a child. And we'll see what happens. In the afternoon, there was a great storm. Gopal Bhatta took shelter in the house of a Brahman who was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He saw to the needs of Sri Bhatta Goswami with great care. Sripad Gopal Bhatta Goswami was very happy. The Brahmana had no son. Gopal Bhatta blessed him, saying, "May you have a son who is a great devotee of Krishna." The Brahmana then said, "I shall give you my first son to engage in the service of Krishna as you see fit." After spending some time in Hardwar, he went further north into Nepal and the Gandaki River, where he retrieved 12 shalagram shilas from the river. And we know that every time he was trying to empty the bag, the shilas were coming back into his bag. It happened several times. So he understood that the Lord wanted to be with him in his form of shalagram shila, and one of the shalagram shilas became Radha Raman in the course of time. When he saw the exquisite beauty of the full-fledged shalagram shila that had turned into Radha Raman, Gopal Bhatta dived in an ocean of joy, shedding tears and offering his full dandavats to the deity. He began spontaneously offering hymns and prayers to the Lord. That was a miracle. Krishna appeared to him from a shalagram shila. Hearing of the miracle, Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis, as well as the other Vaishnavas and Goswamis, quickly went and saw the world-enchanting beauty of the deity of Radha Raman, as tears of divine love flowed from their eyes. In the year 1599, on the full moon day of Vishaka, the sweet deity of Krishna became manifest. The Goswamis named the deity Shri Radha Raman Deva, Radha Raman, Radha and Krishna, Radha Raman. Even though the deity doesn't show Radha, but there is a seat to his left where Radha resides, where Radha sits. Almost 10 years later, one day, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami went to take his noon bath in the Yamuna and returned to his kutir to perform his bhajan. From a distance, he saw a young boy sitting at the door of his hut. When the boy saw Sri Bhatta Goswami, he arose and offered obeisances at the Goswami's feet. Sri Gopal Bhatta asked him, "Who are you?" The boy said, "I am from Devavandya Gram in Saharanpur. I have come from there." Bhatta Goswami said, "Where's your father? Why have you come to me?" The boy said, "My father has sent me here to engage in your service. My name is Gopinath." Gopal Bhatta then remembered the boy's father in Saharanpur, in which the Brahmana said he would give the Goswami his son to engage in the service of the Lord. After this time, Sri Gopinath served Sri Bhatta Goswami with great attention. This is all very heart-rending, all of these pastimes. Subsequently, that boy became known as Sri Gopinath Pujari Goswami. He remained a brahmachari and served the Radha Raman deity up until his death. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami served his beloved Radha Raman deity lovingly, remembering the words and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While serving in this way, the eyes of Gopal Bhatta would often be filled with tears of divine love that flowed like gushing streams. Whereupon Sri Radha Raman bestowed upon Sri Bhatta Goswami a divine vision, this is very interesting. Radha Raman bestowed upon Sri Bhatta Goswami a divine vision of Sri Gauranga himself. The Bhakti Ratnakara 4th Taranga says, when Sri Bhatta Goswami was overwhelmed by Krishna Prema, Sri Radharaman revealed himself as Sri Gauranga Deva. Extraordinary feats, experiences. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami accepted Srinivasa Acharya as his disciple, and Ramachandra Kaviraj was the disciple of Srinivasa Acharya, so everything is connected. Srila Sanatana Goswami composed Hari Bhakti Vilas in collaboration with Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who edited the work. Sanatana Goswami had such great affection for Gopal Bhatta Goswami that he even published the book under his name. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami was responsible for originating the 6 theses of the Satsandarbha that was later elaborately developed by Sri Jiva Goswami. So he said this, outlines, and he did not complete. And then Jiva Goswami divided this work into 6 sandarbhas and completed the work. Sri Jiva Goswami, the greatest theologian of all times. Jiva Goswami writes in the beginning of his Tattva Sandarbha, quote, a devotee from South India who was born in a Brahmana family and was very intimate friend of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, has written a book that he has not compiled systematically. Therefore, a tiny living entity called Jiva, that's Jiva Goswami speaking, I'm trying to assort the events of the book systematically, consulting the direction of great personalities like Madhavacharya, Sridhar Swami, and Ramanujacharya. Gopal Bhatta Goswami has written a foreword to Jiva Goswami's Satsandarbha. He wrote a commentary on Krishna Karnamrita, and he also wrote different texts, guides to Vaishnava samskaras and rituals, etc. In the Ganodesh Dipika, Sri Kavi Karnapur Goswami writes, Ananga Manjari Sadhya Gopal Bhaktaha Bhat Goswaminam Kochidaho Sri Guna Manjari. In my opinion, that person who in Vrindavan Lila was Ananga Manjari is now Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Some authorities, however, have given her their opinion that he was Guna Manjari. So he is a Manjari in the direct service of Sri Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So I'm going to be talking about Ramachandra Kaviraj. See how much time we have. Sri Narottam Das Thakur Mahashaya has sung, O Acharya Prabhu Srinivas, please bestow your mercy upon me. I pray that I might also have the association of Ramachandra. Narottam Das Thakur and Ramachandra Kaviraj were very intimate associates and have a very tight bond of friendship. Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj was the disciple of Srinivasa Acharya. Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu, who had been initiated by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, right? Okay. And the very intimate friend of Narottam Das Thakur, his father was Chiranjiva Sena, his mother was Sri Sunanda. They lived in Kumaranagar, but after marrying the parents, they moved to Srikanda. It's important because a lot of events happen in Srikanda. The father of Ramachandra Kaviraj was a pure devotee and very much loved by the residents of Srikanda, extremely learned in all matters, and his wife was very chaste and gentle. Her activities were completely transcendental. This is a quote from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 11, verse 92. Shimukunda, Narahari, Raghunandana, and Chiranjiva, the father, who were all residents of Srikanda, were of one mind and one purpose. Every year they would come to Nilachala to have darshan of Mahaprabhu and to chant and dance in front of Lord Jagannath during the Ratha Yatra. Chiranjiva, who is the father of this personality, Ramachandra Kaviraj, was from a family of physicians. His two jewel-like sons were Ramachandra and Govinda. Later, they both became disciples of Acharya Prabhu, Srinivas Acharya, and came to reside at Taliya Budari Gram in Murshidabad. Ramachandra was, let's hear about Ramachandra Kaviraj. He was very handsome, intelligent, and perseverant. His maternal grandfather, Sri Damodar Kaviraj, was a well-known poet who was a worshipper of Krishna's energy, Shakti. And there's a very interesting event happening in regards to this, because he came from a line that were devotees of Shakti, Maya Shakti, had been initiated in this cult, his grandfather. After their father passed away, the two brothers, Ramachandra and Govinda, came to live with their grandfather, who practiced the Shakta religion. Being influenced by him, both became inclined to worship the various personified forms of Maya, the external energy of Krishna, the luring energy of Krishna. At this time, Ramachandra practiced medicine and was also quite well known as an accomplished poet. After his marriage, this is an interesting event here. Right after his marriage, Ramachandra was carried in a palanquin with his new bride to his home at Kumara Nagara. As the procession passed, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu's house at Jajigram, he saw the Acharya seated on the veranda of his house discussing Krishna Katha with some of his disciples. Simply upon seeing the Acharya from his palanquin, he felt a strange new emotion dawn in his heart. It was as though he was seeing a very dear friend after a long time of separation. Similarly, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, upon seeing Ramachandra seated in the palanquin, immediately inquired from those who were present with him, "Who is that? What is his name? Which Varna does he belong to? Where does he reside?" His associates replied, "He is a great scholar of the name Ramachandra. He is a very excellent poet as well as a physician, and he resides at Kumara Nagara." Hearing this, Acharya Prabhu simply smiled. His associates replied, "He is a great scholar of the name Ramachandra." Ramachandra Sena is still seated within the palanquin after seeing Srinivas Acharya and hearing his sweet voice, became extremely anxious to meet him. After a short time, the procession reached the house where much pomp and celebrations took place. That was the wedding. That's when Ramachandra Kaviraj was getting married. Everyone was overjoyed to see the new bride. Her name was Ratnamala, and a great din and bustle ensued in welcoming her and her bridegroom into their new home. Ramachandra's mind, however, was still back at Jajigram, where he had seen that divine personage. With great difficulty, he somehow or other passed the day there. But with the fall of night, he returned to Ganjigram, where he passed the night in the house of a Brahmin. Just got married. Spent the day there with the relatives, celebration like that. At night, he just left because he had this urge to go meet this personality he had seen from the palanquin. With the approach of morning, he came to Srinivas Acharya's house and fell down at the Acharya's feet to offer his prostrated obeisances. Srinivas Acharya Prabhu had similarly been continuously thinking of Ramachandra ever since he had seen him the day before. Upon seeing Ramachandra again, prostrated before him, Srinivas picked him up and embraced him in deep ecstasy. Then he told him, "Birth after birth, you are my most dear friend. In the same way that the Lord caused my meeting with Sri Narottam Das Thakur of Vrindavan, he has also reunited me with another dear friend." So the recognition of these personalities who are manjaris in Krishna Lila, and they are reunited in this manifest pastime. Ramachandra stayed with Acharya Prabhu, Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu, and studied the literatures of the 6 Goswamis under his tutorship. Srinivasa Acharya was extremely pleased to see his gentle and polite behavior and his deep spiritual nature. So let's take note. He was very pleased to see his gentle and polite behavior. These are all teachings for us. And his deeply spiritual nature. On the next auspicious day, he initiated Ramachandra with Radha Krishna mantra. Haribo! After some time, Ramachandra returned to his house. When the Shaktas saw, he had been living with his grandfather, right? His father had died, his grandfather was a Shakta devotee. When the Shaktas saw that he had been initiated into the Vaishnava religion, they became very upset. Ramachandra, however, was undaunted. With tilak on his body in 12 places and a japamala in his hand, he sat in front of them and began to chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One day, as Ramachandra was proceeding to his house, after having taken his bath, his Shakta neighbors called him, Kaviraj, without worshipping Lord Shiva, how is it that you're going home? Your grandfather was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Have you given up Lord Shiva's worship? Ramachandra replied, Lord Shiva and Brahma are incarnations of 2 of the material modes created by Sri Krishna. Of course, the mode of passion and ignorance. Sri Krishna himself is the source of all incarnations. Therefore, by worshipping Lord Krishna, everyone's worship is performed, just as by watering the roots of a tree, all the leaves and branches become nourished. Prahlad, Dhruva, Vibhishan, and others were dear devotees of Sri Krishna. Therefore, Lord Shiva and Brahma were naturally favorably disposed to them, whereas Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Banasura, and other demons were only devotees of Lord Shiva and not devotees of Lord Krishna. Thus, their ultimate end was to simply be destroyed. The Shastras say that Lord Brahma was able to create this world due to having successfully worshipped Sri Vishnu. These are all the arguments he was giving to the Shaktas. Similarly, Lord Shiva has become qualified to invoke auspiciousness in this world. How? By having received the foot-washed water of Lord Vishnu, the Ganges water on his head. Having heard these various statements from the Shastras, those scholars remained speechless. Couldn't argue with him anymore. Ramachandra became very anxious to have darshan of Sri Vrindavan and the Goswamis there. He petitioned Sri Raghunandana and various other Vaishnavas for their permission, which they readily gave. Thus, on the next day, he set out for Sri Vrindavan Dham. After passing through Gaya, Kashi, and Prayag, he finally arrived at Mathura. There he took bath and some rest at Vishrama Ghat. After taking darshan of the Adi Keshava temple, he started from Vrindavan. At this time, his guru, Srinivasa Acharya, was present at Vrindavan. Ramachandra offered his prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of his guru and Sri Jiva Goswami, and conveyed the good news of the devotees from Godadesh. As ordered by Sri Jiva Goswami, Ramachandra took darshan of Sri Govinda, Sri Gopinath, Sri Madan Mohan, and Sri Sanatan Goswami Samadhi. Then he offered his respects to Sri Gopal Bhatta, Sri Lokanath, and Sri Bhugarva Goswami, who were very pleased with him and who offered him their benedictions. Hearing some samples of his great poetic ability, everyone decided to present him with the title Kaviraj. After remaining in the Goswamis Association for some days, they finally instructed him to return to Godadesh. And so he returned, visiting Sri Kanda, Jajigram, Kandaha, and Kalna on the way. Finally, he came to Sri Mayapur, where he received the blessings of Sri Ishan Thakur, the servant of Mother Sachi. One time, some Smarta Brahmanas made a conspiracy to defame the name of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. They were very upset that though he was only Kayastha by caste, he accepted those born in Brahma families as his disciples. It was all envy. They enlisted the king Raja Narasimha and the conquering Pandit Sri Rupanarayan in a crusade to somehow expose Narottam Das as a fraud. In a large party, they made their way to Kituri, where Srila Narottam Thakur had his headquarters. And we know that the story about how these two personalities, Ramachandra and Ganga Narayan, are assume the role or pretending they are, sellers, wallahs, and they are going to be speaking to these persons who are on their way to Katuri to depose, so to speak, and defame Narottam Das Thakur, and they are going to be talking to this group of people coming to Katuri in a way that is completely bewildering because they spoke to them in Sanskrit. And they showed that as simple wallahs, they were highly learned individuals and that they were disciples of Narottam Das Thakur, at which point the whole party desisted and they turned back. However, the king, this king Raja Narasimha, when he returned to his home, had a dream where Durga Devi told him, Narasimha, you have committed a great offense at the feet of Narottam Das Thakur. As a result of this Vaishnava parad, I will have to cut you all to pieces with this chopper. If you want to save yourself, then you had better immediately go and take shelter at Narottam Das Thakur's lotus feet. When his sleep broke, the king quickly took his bath and set out for Katuri. Rupanarayan had a similar dream. The two that were going to defame Narottam Das Thakur, had a similar dream and was also proceeding toward Katuri at the same time. They met upon their arrival, approached the temple of Sri Gauranga in order to meet Narottam Das Thakur, who was absorbing his bhajan. But he received the guests, and simply by seeing his transcendental form imbued with Krishna prema, the two offenders became purified and fell down to offer their obeisances at the feet of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Okay, we only have a couple of minutes. Many sinful atheists were delivered by Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj. He was present at the Katuri festival, the first festival honoring the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a big way. He came to Vrindavan a second time on the order of Srinivas and Narottam, but this time he couldn't have darshan of the Goswamis because they had all departed. Feeling separation from them, he was very distressed at heart. Unable to tolerate the pain, he joined them in their eternal pastimes there in Vrindavan. In Vrajalila, his name is Karuna Manjari. His disappearance is today. Ramachandra Kaviraj Ki Jai. All glories to the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and to all the devotees of this temple. Hare Krishna. And all the temples.
Could you send that biography of Ramachandra Kaviraj to me?
Yeah.
Because it had some details that I didn't know about.
It's so amazing. The three biographies for him. I just read part of it.
Yeah, could you send it to me?
Yes, of course.
Jai, Shri Shri Radha
Jai.
Govindam Adi Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Purusham Tamaham Vajamin Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajamin Menam Kanvanda Maravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiranganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham
Namo Vishnu Pataya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shimate Makte Vedanta Samaniti Namine Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacha Negi Visesha Shunyavare Pasyachare Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sivasare Gauraturina Shri Krishna Nana Ramanitya Nana Siadwaita Gadada Siva Sade Naradurina Shri Krishna Nana Ramanityanana Siadwaita Gadada Siva Sade Naradurina Snaetana Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Goloka nana nana, Goloka nana, Radhe. Goloka nana nana, Goloka nana, Radhe. Hey, Jai Om Vishnupad.
Yes, we are going out in Harinam on Friday because it's really going to be a nice day, like 72 degrees, no rain. and the weekend is not going to be as nice. So please come, Weaver Street Market, Friday from 11:30 to 1. Hare Krishna. Chaitodar Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Hare Krishna. Eyakairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamai Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kribaya Tavavada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgirudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Bravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishava Padamritam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastusa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the dust of all the and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. Thank you. Transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. In this state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no